This is his
That's
script.
his
This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5, the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Township Council in the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers. A list of dates annually indicating that this work session regular meeting would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 27, 2016. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file at the office of the municipal clerk. So let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation to be given by Councilman Prasad.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. O God, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, hear our supplications, and through thy infinite love and mercy, graciously grant us the strength and power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Deputy Mayor Chase.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois. Mayor Kramer. Councilman Onijaka. Councilman Prasad.
Here.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella. Councilman Wright.
Here.
Okay, as we have a quorum. We have no commendations or proclamations, so I would entertain a move to open the public session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is now open for the public. Anyone who wishes to speak, please stand to the podium there and give your name and address.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one come forward, I make a motion that we close public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, could I just interject one moment? The mayor did ask me to let the public know that he apologized for him not being able to be here tonight, that he had a personal emergency that he needed to attend to that came up at about 5:30 this evening. So I just wanted to let the public know that.
He had told me earlier he had to go to the freeholders meeting and would be late.
Unfortunately, he did not make the freeholders meeting, and he had this emergency that he needed to attend to immediately.
Oh. Okay, council comments and reports. Let's start at the left.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, no comment.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I just want to comment on a wonderful, wonderful Franklin Day Festival on Saturday. Kudos to Councilwoman Sherman and all that were involved in planning the event. It was just a glorious day for the weather and all to come out and participate in seeing all that Franklin has to offer, as well as the great eats and entertainment. So kudos to Councilwoman Sherman and her team. Also, I attended a ribbon cutting ceremony for Habitat for Humanity on Churchill Avenue, and the family were absolutely elated and ecstatic to be able to receive such a gift, but also to be able to put some sweat equity into the home. And again, I welcome them on behalf of the township, and I welcome them because it's actually in my neighborhood, and I welcome them to the neighborhood. So that was a great event and occasion. And I have nothing else to report at this time. I have no other meetings that or committees that met.
Councilman Prasad.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Firstly, congratulations to everybody for a great Franklin Day Festival. Councilwoman Sherman. It was phenomenal, and it grows every year. And talking to the manager, he said that his estimate was at least 15,000 people were there. So you doubled last year's turnout, and the diversity showcase was phenomenal in that, we were able to show our township's diversity that's there and learn about each other's cultures. So that was a phenomenal thing. The HRC was involved in that, and the members did a great job. And speaking of the HRC, Human Relations Commission, last night they had the school principal, Ms. Clark, there, and she has some lofty goals to make things happen and improve the school, and so she is working very hard, and we were impressed by her. And beyond that, the Interfaith Cafe, interfaith meeting of all our 70 houses of worship heard from a community cafe concept, which is a brand new twist on the old soup kitchen, but it also goes into having a cyber cafe there, providing access for people, and the religious groups have expressed a desire to evaluate potential sites where they could do it, where the greatest need is, and to evaluate the need to feed. Now, this kind of cafe already exists in Phillipsburg, and everybody was impressed by the individual presenting, and we hope that we can do something with it. And all they're asking for is the township's help and blessing in facilitating this whole concept, but they would be running it themselves and independently. So that's one good news, and their goal is that nobody in Franklin goes to bed hungry. So hopefully we can achieve that goal. And speaking of that, there are employers looking for employees, and there are jobs, and they're coming. They were there at the Franklin Day Festival and ended up finding one person that qualified and went to the open house out of 8 that expressed an interest. And then the Franklin Day Festival, they were back, and the Job Corps people from Edison, which is the New Jersey Job Corps, and they offer, and it's a residential program, so people can actually go stay there and gain job skills that are in short demand and provide, go out and find jobs. So that's something that we need to, promote and find and set a goal of possibly having 100% employment in our wards and neighborhoods. Finally, there was a FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission's hearing that was held on September 15th, right here in our Senior Community Center, and a lot of our residents came out. The full capacity of 3 people testifying for 3 minutes at a time, with 3 court reporters, were all there. And we had 180 people that actually got a chance to testify. Others submitted their comments in writing and have also gone online and provided those comments. So this is going to be taken into consideration in their final environmental impact statement or report that is expected in the spring. But in the meanwhile, the FERC website is open for everybody to comment on it and provide input. Our township also had passed a resolution with the council opposing the compressor station, and it was submitted by our clerk to the FERC site. So all our comments have been registered, and we were there. And they also got comments, and the mayor actually read the resolution that the council had passed outside the FERC hearing. Unfortunately, the people, the residents who were opposed to it were not allowed to be in there, while William Stransco was there at the invitation of FERC to provide answers to residents. So we felt that that was a kind of unnecessary advantage and bias that was being introduced, but that's what happens when the township is legally bound when they rent a hall to the federal government. So that's what happened. So with that, Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Well, obviously, my first comment is going to be about the fantastically successful Franklin Day Festival that we had this Saturday. Mother Nature cooperated beautifully. It started out rainy and then turned into a bright, sunny, cool, lovely day. And I'm not sure how much of a percentage I give to that, but it certainly was important. People wanted to get out. But the things that we had to offer this year were so robust that our advertising, our banners, our signs really played a large part in getting people to come out. We had all those free things for the children, pony rides and the paddle boats and mini golf and bubble soccer. It was fantastic. We had over 160 tables. We had 15 food vendors. We had 3 bands. We had the cultural diversity program where we had various performances by many of the groups representing our diverse population. It was an amazing, amazing event, and it was wonderful to see Franklin Township coming out in force to celebrate with us. So we have hit a great high, and the question I had is, what can we do to make it better? I don't know, but we're going to find out and we're going to do it. So every year, our hope is to make it even better than it was the year before, but this one's going to be a little hard to beat. So I thank all of the residents from Franklin and other areas who came out to enjoy it. I truly hope you had a great time, and we're going to do it again next year and make it even bigger and better somehow. So Franklin Township, you have a great venue for getting together and becoming a stronger community, and please take advantage of it. If you've never heard of the Franklin Day Festival, and there are still people who never have heard of the Franklin Day Festival, make sure you talk to your friends and your neighbors who came and let them tell you what a great event it was, and try to pay attention next year when we put up our signs, and join us next year if you didn't get there this year. So it was very gratifying for those of us who worked very, very hard. We had a lot of very good volunteers from outside the township and within the township who helped outside the employees of the township, and volunteers coming from communities within Franklin Township. So I'm deeply grateful for every volunteer that we had and for all the support we had this year. And our township manager was there to help us out too, and he certainly made sure we had the resources that we needed to move forward. So thank you to all who were there and who made it happen. The other thing I just want to spend a few minutes reporting on is economic development. We did have a meeting last week with our consultant, and he's brought us up to date on some of his thinking, which should be of interest. We're looking at 2 areas right now, Hamilton Street and the corporate business areas. I guess that's Cottontail and Davidson and World's Fair. And his suggestions, this is all very relatively preliminary. There's lots more work to be done, lots more planning to be done, but his ideas were, just in a nutshell, that Hamilton Street, we need to boost the retail on Hamilton Street, and we will do that. And part of the reason that we will do that is that we have 3 developers already in place and approved to build multi-faceted buildings. There'll be retail on the first floor, and then residences above it. And most of the residents right now, which is what we had hoped for a very long time, are college students coming from Rutgers. It seems highly logical that we are adjacent to Rutgers and New Brunswick, and now we're going to have the right kind of housing for these students. So we're very excited about the prospect of that happening and building on that as time goes on. In the corporate business area, we're looking at a different type of business, light industrial, medical, healthcare, assisted living. Those are the types of employment opportunities for the future. We're probably not going to attract the big corporations. We don't have the prestigious Princeton address, but we certainly have a marvelous location near the highways. And we have the room, we have the opportunities to develop these kinds of businesses in Franklin Township for the future. So that's kind of a summary, a quick snapshot of what we talked about, but I at least wanted you to know that we are moving forward, we are looking to the future, and we will do some wonderful things for Franklin to keep us vibrant and keep our people employed and keep this a wonderful center for living and working. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Councilwoman Francois.
I really don't have any comments, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I just want to say that I really enjoyed the Franklin Festival Day. It was really nice. I got there at 2:30, and at 5 o'clock came just like that, and I didn't want to leave. And there were a lot of people that were there that were lingering around. Nice entertainment, good food. It seemed like everybody who was anybody about the town was there. And we got a lot of visitors that came from outside of Franklin Township, too. And there was a lot of information exchange in regards to what we do here in the township. I know that there were a lot of people that stopped by our township booth. And everybody that was there, we had beautiful weather, and it was well organized. The parking, the ingress and egress, it was just a really nice affair. And I'm looking forward to next year. And I'm glad you had the vision to bring that to fruition and bring that to Franklin. That's something that this township really, really needs. Thank you, Councilwoman Sherman. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor, just like to add, Councilwoman Francois and Councilman Wright were burning the midnight oil after Franklin Day Festival at cricket finals of the two leagues on Western Road, and they finally ended up late at night, so we had to take their pictures by flashlight in the dark.
They played in the dark?
No, almost
it
to the end.
lasted till dark.
It got dark, yeah. So it was yeah. So it was quite a game. So,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Well, I unfortunately missed the Franklin Day Festival because I was at that time flying back from a week in Greece, carefully placed between council meetings. I had a good time there. Last night we did have a rather brief meeting of the Financial Oversight Committee. We talked a bit about the best practices, check sheet, best practices that the state tells us we have to do if we're to get our full share of what the state team terms state aid, which is really comes from things like the public utility, the utilities gross receipts tax, since public utilities facilities tend to be located in one community but serve a large area, so instead of they're paying property tax, they pay a gross receipts tax, which is then distributed to all of the communities, but the state has gotten into the habit of acting that it's their munificence to give or withhold, and we do have these best practices, strong suggestions that we have to, I think this year it's 22 out of 30 to get our full share of, quote, state aid, unquote. And we also talked some about how to spend some community development block grant funds left over. We didn't fully expend in previous years, and what to spend that on. And yes, we had the FERC hearing and a very large turnout of residents and some people from South Brunswick, but I think it was mostly Franklin people there opposing this. So I think that's, trying to think if I have anything else to report. As the manager said, the mayor unfortunately is unable to be here. Last night there was a gala at the Imperia of New Jersey League of Conservation Voters, which is exists to support legislators who are good conservationists. And the executive director is our president of the Board of Education, so it was very conveniently located in Franklin. And I wasn't able to stay for it because of the Financial Oversight Committee meeting, but it seemed to be a success.
Four former
Councilman
governors were being honored.
What?
4 former governors.
4 former governors were being honored. Councilman Onajaka, did you have anything you wish to report on, comments?
Not today. I don't have any today.
Except that he was there, and so was I, at the
Oh,
League of
good. Yeah.
Conservation Voters. I forgot to mention it, and I'm sure Councilman Onajaka would have mentioned it too, but you did. So
Yeah.
it was a very nice event.
Yeah.
And the party was nice.
Okay, next item is the manager's report.
I thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I have very little to report. I wanted to thank Councilwoman Sherman. As the township manager, it's a great pleasure to take part in one of the events like Franklin Day Festival. It's not often that I get to do fun things, not that my job isn't fun all the time, but it's a fun day. I want to thank all the staff members who came. Many of our employees were there, and the department heads to represent all of the different departments of the town gave of their own time. We don't pay them to be there, and it was certainly appreciated. It's fun to be there with our employees when they're having a good time. And Franklin Day Festival brings that out in them, and I see Anne Marie shaking her head over there. I got to spend the day with Anne Marie, my clerk, and I don't always get to do that, and it was just fun. And I guess that's the best way I could put it. It was just fun, and I saw a whole lot of people really enjoying themselves, and that is part of what made it fun. And I hear everyone, will say thank you to Councilwoman Sherman for coming up with the idea of Franklin Day Festival and bringing it to fruition. I personally get to see the probably what amounts to hundreds and hundreds of hours that she puts in for this particular event. She is the true leader of this event, and staff members might help, but it is marked by her. And so I say thank you to you for that, because things like that make my job much more enjoyable at times, and I appreciate that. I have just a couple housekeeping things to report on, some things that have been question marks in council members' minds over the last several months, and I can just give some quick updates. We did not have a Public Works Committee meeting. Had we had a Public Works Committee meeting today, the one thing that I would have reported on is our township engineer, Tom Zelenik, and our consulting engineering firm, Mott McDonald, met with the Department of Transportation officials yesterday about our Little Rocky Hill water main issues, and it seems like we are finally making some headway, and I think that with just some finesse from our elected officials. The staff at the Department of Transportation will come along, and we will be able to do our project as we proposed, without the great expense that they were about to levy on us for road reconstruction. So we came out of the meeting yesterday with high hopes, and I think that with, like I said, just maybe a few well-placed phone calls, we'll be able to move forward on our project. So that was the one good thing that would have been reported at Public Works. Otherwise, it's just kind of status quo. So I figured I could report that tonight rather than have all the council members on that committee come in early. The other question that was posed last time, and I will tell you, the concession stand for Middlebush Park is on schedule. We hope to receive it in the next week to 2 weeks. Everything has been ordered, and it would appear that early October timeframe for installation and finishing that project will be met. So that's what I have, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Very good.
Mr. Deputy Mayor?
Particularly if we have progress on the Little Rocky Hill water main.
Mr. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah.
Either you or the township manager, can you speak a little bit to the 518 bridge? I believe there was some update at the last meeting from the freeholders or from the county?
I believe that, so what I'm aware of from my conversations with the mayor, who unfortunately isn't here to report directly on this, he has had conversations with, at the very least, Freeholder Levine about that particular project, and the county is still working out the details with the state of New Jersey as to how that would be funded by the county and anything related to that project is still up in the air. So unfortunately, I can't say that everything has been worked out because it hasn't, and I know that there's still some work to be done on the part of the county and the state to get that project funded by the county to move forward.
Mr. Deputy Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Wright.
I would like to give direction to our township manager to move forward on our sidewalk project in and around the middle school and Hillcrest and things of that nature. So we need to give our township manager direct approval to start that project. So with that, I would like a motion to have our township manager to move forward on the sidewalk process.
Good. Is there a second? Any discussion?
Is that all we need?
Which streets is that? I know some of Hillcrest and,
So it would be Hillcrest, Girard, Dutton, and Belmar.
Yeah.
That was the capital improvement project for
and
2016.
you've talked with all the residents there and, good.
Talked to most of them. I still have maybe 6 or 7 blocks left, but I've been going door to door myself to knock on to let them know and to ask questions about that particular issue.
No, and
So-
that's what you said you would do.
Yeah, Councilman Wright, are you going to complete the other 6 or 7 blocks? Are you going to go back and ask those blocks whether they're interested or not, or you think you have enough information?
Councilwoman Sherman, I will leave no rock unturned. As I told you before,
Excellent.
things that I will do, I will take care of.
Okay. The other question I had, was there not supposed to be some kind of analysis? It's only one side of the street that's going to be paved?
So what we did was we provided for Councilman Wright the list of residences on all of those 4 streets where the sidewalks would go. That part of it was done in-house by our engineering department. They went out and determined where the sidewalks would go,
Okay.
which side of the street. So he had that to work with when he
went
went out to
knocking on
talk to the
doors. Okay.
neighbors. Yes.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Vornlocker.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I don't know that in the past the way we've done this is, so I will look down the dais here and say, if anyone is opposed to me moving forward with this capital project, please shake your head no now. And my observation is that no one is shaking their head no, and therefore I will begin the process of moving forward on the sidewalks on those 4 streets to the 2016 capital project.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Township Mayor.
Great. Okay, moving on. We have no council discussion items. Oh, well, we've just, in effect, had one, but we have no minutes to approve, so the next item is approval of warrants in the amount of $9,518,350 are presented to the Township Council on September 27th, 2016 for payment.
Motion to approve the warrant as read.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
So, warrants are approved. We now move to public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading, and we have 4 of these. The first is ordinance 4163-16, amending the Renaissance 2000 Development Plan codified in the Municipal Code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, as Chapter 112, Development, Article 35, regarding permitted uses within the Churchill Millstone Mixed Use, CMMU, District. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order. Do I
Motion
have
for
a
public
motion?
hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is now open for the public to speak on this particular ordinance, which basically gives residents in that area a little more flexibility to add on to their houses to a limited degree, which was not allowed in the existing ordinance.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, seeing no one come forward, I make a motion to close this section of public discussion.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion for passage.
So, second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Motion passes.
Before I vote on this, can I ask clarification? Before I vote on this, I heard what you were saying, but I wanted to make sure that I heard it properly, if that's okay with you.
We're in the roll call,
I vote for it, yes.
Yeah.
but if you have questions afterwards, I'm happy to.
Okay, I vote yes on that one. Mr. Deputy Mayor, could I please ask our esteemed parliamentarian attorney to just explain that for me just one more second?
This has to do with my remark about Robert's Rules of Order, does.
I love you.
Go ahead, Councilman, I apologize.
You have a question?
Yeah, I just didn't understand that, so without the legalese, could you just explain that to me one more time?
As I recall the ordinance, the existing redevelopment ordinance does not allow people in that area, in the redevelopment area, to add on to their houses, because that would, if eventually the redeveloper got around to redeveloping that area, he'd have to pay a larger amount to buy the houses. But given that the period of the redevelopment contract is just about up, it was thought appropriate to amend the ordinance to allow people to add on to houses to a limited degree.
I think that pretty much summarizes it, yeah.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Chase, and our legal expert, Dr. Raymond.
Ordinance number 4164-16, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Code Chapter 384, Water, more particularly Section 384-19, Curb Connection Capital, Section 384-20, Meter Charges, Section 384-24, Service Charge for Reinstatement of Water Supply, Section 384-44, Meter Testing, Section 384-63, Violations and Penalties, and new Section 384-64, After Hour Emergencies. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order.
Motion for public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So this ordinance is now open for public discussion. This is not raising water rates, this is raising charges which hadn't been raised in a long time for a variety of things that from time to time have to be done.
Yeah.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, seeing no one come forward, I make a motion to close this public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for passage?
Motion for passage.
So moved. Oh, second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson. Councilwoman Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Okay, the ordinance passes. Ordinance number 4165-16, an ordinance authorizing release of the affordable housing agreements and discharge of repayment mortgages, Society Hill 1 and Society Hill 2. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order.
Motion for public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this ordinance is now open for public discussion. What this ordinance does is the affordable units in Society Hill 1 and 2 are now 30 years old, and the 30-year restriction on what they can be, well, it's not so much what they can be sold for, but who they can sell it to, is now expired, and this ordinance is to make it clear for title purposes that they are released from the affordable housing agreements and township second mortgages on these units, which they were anyway because the 30 years was up, but this makes it legally clear.
Seeing no one come forward, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Just one point I would like the township attorney to clarify is that this does not release them from any windfall profits.
No, it does
No.
not.
So please clarify.
They can only make,
On the first non-exempt sale, let's call it that, correct. Thereafter, they just become market rate units.
well, they can be sold at above what the buyer paid for them, but the buyer can only keep I think it's a 5% profit. Anything above that goes to the Township Affordable Housing Fund. However, I understand that the market rate now is only about enough to get them a 5% profit.
It's actually more than 5% profits over the course of the 30 years. These units, of course, 30 years ago were worth a lot less. It's actually COA restricted the percentage each year, so they went up. But I think the councilman is correct that what happened is when the real estate market course corrected in 2008, what we saw was the calculated steady increase in the value of these units pretty much matched what the market rate units were. So you had units that were, side by side, one restricted, one not, that were basically selling for, one was restricted on the sale, and the other was selling freely in the marketplace. So should there be, as you said, on the first sale, should there be any increase, then it would come back to the town. After that, they just become market rate units.
Right, thank you. I call the question.
Yeah, I think we,
We need someone to move in second to adopt.
can I get
I think it was moved by Councilman
Second.
Prasad.
second?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
No, roll
Aye.
call.
Aye.
Roll
No.
roll-
We
roll call.
we have closed the
We
public
closed that,
session.
and it was moved in second, so we just
Okay.
need a roll call.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Okay, the ordinance passes. And ordinance 4166-16, an ordinance amending municipal code of the Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, Chapter 333, Streets and Sidewalks, more particularly Section 333-39 concerning snow removal. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication, and a public hearing is in order.
Motion for public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is now open for anybody who wishes to comment on this ordinance. And what the ordinance is about is a requirement that if we're having a steady snowfall, the homeowners associations or owners of apartment complexes, townhouse complexes, anywhere with private streets, they have to keep the roads open, even if this requires regular plowing, rather than just waiting until all the snow has fallen, which, of course, could cause a problem for emergency vehicles. Seeing no one coming forward,
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion.
Motion for the ordinance? To pass the
Second.
ordinance.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Did he leave?
Okay, the ordinance passes. We have no ordinances for introduction and first reading, so we come to the consent agenda resolutions.
Motion for passing the consent agenda?
Second.
Anyone wish to pull any one resolution for separate discussion?
No, but I have a question.
Yeah.
On K, is this a public auction?
It's the police department auction
Yes.
of abandoned vehicles.
Public notice, publicly, yes.
That's the only question I have.
I noticed that the, on L, the change of custodians of petty cash funds, that seemed to...
It's a little bit behind, yeah, I think you might see a name.
Behind, obviously hadn't been updated for quite a few years.
Yes, I am no longer the custodian of petty cash for the police department.
Do I, okay, so,
Call the question? The vote?
okay.
I think it was
Madam
moved and
Clerk,
seconded,
please
right?
call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Councilwoman Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Okay, resolutions pass. Old business, do we have any nominations? Are there any nominations for boards, committees, and commission vacancies? If not,
Nope.
we do have an executive session scheduled. So we have to present a resolution, 16455, to authorize an executive session concerned with litigation with E&J Equities.
Motion for the resolution?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will, when we come out of executive session, I don't anticipate that we will have anything to pass, so the only thing after that will be adjournment, so we can stop the recording of the meeting.